It's March 2014. In the mountain town of Boquete, Panama, two friends from the Netherlands, Kris, 21, and Lisanne, 22, lace up for what's meant to be a relaxed afternoon hike. The El Pianista Trail is their choice, a dirt path starting in quiet farmland before winding up into mist-heavy cloud forest. Their day packs carry water, snacks, a camera, and their phones. Even the hostel's stray dog decides to tag along, tail swishing like he knows the way. The trail's high point, the Continental Divide, offers postcard views in every direction. Photos from their camera show them smiling at the top. It's normally the turnaround point for tourists. Beyond it, the trail plunges steeply into remote jungle. Local guides warn, without an escort, that section can be deadly. But Kris and Lisanne walked on. By evening, the dog pads back to town alone. Search teams mobilized immediately. Local police, mountain guides, and helicopters combed the trail and surrounding jungle. When days passed with no trace, 12 specially trained search dogs from the Netherlands were flown in to join the effort. The phones of the girls told part of the story. On April 1st at 4:39 p.m., Kris's iPhone attempted to call 112, the European emergency number. Minutes later, Lisanne's Samsung tried 911. No reception. In the following days, the phones were switched on briefly, perhaps to climb higher for a signal, or simply to conserve what little battery life remained. Lisanne's battery died on April 4th. Kris's phone was switched on in short bursts until April 11th, and then never again. On April 8th, in the middle of the night, 90 photos were taken between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. Pure darkness. The flash lighting up wet rocks, jungle branches, running water. One image shows the back of Kris's head, hair damp, skin pale. Other photos appear to capture a desperate attempt at rescue. The women had arranged toilet paper spelling out SOS on a rock, alongside a mirror positioned to reflect the sun's rays. On June 14th, more than 2 months later, a woman in the indigenous village of Alto Romero found Lisanne's bright blue backpack on the banks of the Colubre River. It was clean, dry, and fully intact. Passports, $83 in cash, 2 bras, sunglasses, the camera, and both phones. Everything undamaged. Days later, searchers found Kris's denim shorts on a rock in the river. Not far away, a hiking boot containing part of Lisanne's foot. Forensic analysis revealed fractures in Lisanne's left foot, injuries she must have sustained while alive, likely from a fall, according to the Dutch Forensic Institute. Medical analysis also showed signs of periostitis, inflammation of the bone membrane, suggesting she may have survived for several days after the fractures occurred. Eventually, 33 bone fragments were recovered. Lisanne's bones still had bits of skin. Kris's bones were unnaturally white, almost bleached. No signs of bite marks or sharp force trauma. But what happened out there? 3 scenarios still circulate. 1. The accidental fall. The scenario most likely, according to forensic specialists, Panamanian authorities, and a team including members of the Dutch Rescue Dog Foundation. They believe Kris and Lisanne may have slipped down a steep slope where climbing back up without proper equipment would have been impossible. At that location, the drop can be 30 to 40 meters, around 98 to 131 feet, a fall that would almost certainly cause serious injury. One of them may have been badly hurt in such a fall, forcing the other to stay behind until both eventually succumbed to the harsh jungle conditions. 2. Nighttime distress signals. The series of flash photos could have been meant to signal rescuers, but why only on day 8? 3. Foul play. Despite public speculation, investigators say the geographical conditions, the social environment, and the technical findings from the forensic investigation make a violent crime, robbery, abduction, or organ trafficking highly unlikely. But whatever happened stayed there. 2 young women stepped past the safety of the trail into the jungle. Rest in peace to Lisanne and Kris. Okay, so let's flash back to June 1997. In Pakistan's remote Kohistan region, the mountains rise like jagged walls, their peaks shrouded in shifting clouds. 2 brothers, Nasiruddin, known as Hajo, and Kathiruddin, ride on horseback through Lady Valley, fleeing a violent family feud. Hajo, a married father of 2, had hoped the secluded mountain route would keep them safe. But sometime that afternoon, with tension thick in the air, Nasiruddin stepped into a cave and never came back out. Geraldine searched frantically, calling his name into the echoing darkness, then rallied locals to join in. Days of searching turned into weeks. Without a trace, they held a symbolic funeral. Rumors swirled. Had he fallen? Had someone silenced him? Without a body, there were no answers. Fast forward 28 years. It's July 2025, and the Karakoram summer heat is breaking records. Snowfall in recent years has dwindled, leaving glaciers vulnerable to the sun. On the Lady Meadows Glacier, Shepherd Omar Khan is navigating the ice when he stumbles, literally, on something impossible. "What I saw was unbelievable," Omar later told BBC Urdu. "The body was intact, the clothes were not even torn. Encased in crystal-clear ice lies a man, his skin pale but preserved, his clothes flawless. In a frozen pocket sits an ID card with one name, Nasiruddin. Police confirm it's the man who vanished in 1997, and locals suddenly begin sharing long-held memories about his disappearance. Experts explain, when a human body falls into a glacier, the extreme cold freezes it almost instantly, halting decomposition. The lack of oxygen and moisture mummifies the body, locking it in time until the glacier recedes. In this case, the retreat came fast, accelerated by climate change. Record heat and reduced snowfall in 2025 exposed ice that had been hidden for decades. As the glacier shrank, it finally surrendered its secret, a man frozen since the day he stepped into that cave. For Geraldine, the discovery closed a chapter he'd carried for nearly 3 decades. Theories of foul play faded. The evidence suggested a tragic fall into a hidden crevasse. Now, he must decide whether to bury his brother in Lady Valley, the place that claimed him, or bring him home. Let's go straight into story 3. Meet Geraldine Largay, retired Air Force nurse, wife, mother, and a hiker with a dream to conquer the Appalachian Trail. Her trail name, Inchworm, fit her perfectly. Slow, steady, mile by mile. By July 2013, she had already walked over 1,000 miles of the AT. She wasn't always hiking alone. Jerry had started with a companion, but when her friend had to leave for a family emergency, she pressed on solo. A decision some say left her more vulnerable. On July 21st, her husband George saw her for the last time before she set out on a tough 32-mile stretch over 7 mountain peaks in Maine. They'd planned to meet again at a rendezvous point along the trail. When she missed that meeting on July 24th, George didn't wait. He reported her missing immediately, setting off one of the largest search efforts in Maine's history. On July 22nd, somewhere near Reddington Township, Jerry stepped off the trail, most likely for a bathroom break. In the thick Maine woods, just off the trail can be all it takes to lose it completely. A compass needle spins between trees, landmarks vanish. She tried to text George, "In some trouble, got off trail, call for help." The message never sent. She climbed to higher ground and tried again, over a dozen times in total. Every attempt failed. Search teams, helicopters, K9 units, rangers, volunteers scoured the area, passing within 100 yards of her hidden campsite more than once. But the dense canopy was like camouflage from above. Jerry had many essentials: maps, lighters, whistle, space blanket, and a compass. But it's reported she didn't know how to use the compass effectively. Her Spot GPS tracker, a device that could send an emergency signal without cell service, sat unused in a motel room. That one detail became one of the most haunting what-ifs of her story. For 26 days, she fought to survive. Her campsite was orderly, her gear neatly arranged. She built shelters, started fires, rationed her food. Her journal documented each day and included one final request: "When you find my body, please call my husband George and my daughter Carrie. It will be the greatest kindness for them to know that I am dead and where you found me, no matter how many years from now." On October 14th, 2015, over 2 years later, a U.S. Navy forester surveying the area stumbled on a collapsed tent hidden under heavy canopy. Inside, Jerry lay in her sleeping bag, her space blanket strung overhead like a tarp. She was just 3,000 feet from the trail, a 30-minute walk from safety. The medical examiner ruled hypothermia. She had survived nearly a month, long enough for help to come heartbreakingly close, but never close enough. Hiking can be pure freedom. Mountains stretching into the horizon, nothing but the crunch of your boots and the wind in the trees. But the wilderness is not forgiving. A single misstep, a wrong turn, or a change in weather can turn an adventure into a fight for survival. So if you take anything from this, let it be this: know your terrain, respect it, and never assume you're the exception. If you made it through all three without nervously double-checking your own hiking gear, congratulations! Now go hit that subscribe button. It helps me bring more of these stories to life, one animated disaster at a time. And if you've heard of another hike gone wrong that deserves this kind of deep dive, drop it in the comments. I'll dig into it, strip it down to the essentials, and maybe throw in a no or two where it hurts. Rest in peace to everyone we've remembered today, and if you're heading out on the trail tomorrow, maybe don't watch this again before you go.